All right, thanks, guys. Got some good news and some bad news. Of course, we'll start with the good news first. A couple nice wins yesterday on my Patreon website. Got another win in the college basketball package tier. It's going to put us at 8-2 in our last 10 college basketball package tier plays. We also improved to 8-4 in our last dozen crowd pleaser teasers. Guys, we are red hot in those two packages. We're also over 1,100 members on that Patreon website. Link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/rockpage. Now, as far as the bad news is concerned, I'm going to address that in a couple of minutes during my timeout. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free lines and personal leans here for Saturday's college basketball action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you guys had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. Now let's go ahead and start with Texas Tech taking on Oklahoma State, 1 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. The Raiders are -3 away from home, total at 133. We saw a 1-point fade of Texas Tech and moving upward on the total. The Raiders open as the 4-point favorite down to -3. Total open 132 up to 133. 54% of the consensus are leaning toward Texas Tech. 58% shaded toward the over. And right now, Oklahoma State is plus $1.50 on the money line. Now, if you like the Cowboys in the friendly confines here, just keep in mind they've dropped 7 out of their last 10 games. They've also covered just 3 out of 12 home games this year. Oklahoma State's averaging just 66 points per contest. They're also shooting just 41% from the field. Now, Texas Tech, on the other side, they rank in the top 35 in scoring, also winners of their last 3 straight games. And total-wise, 4 out of Texas Tech's last 6 games did get over the number. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the road favorite in this one. Give me Texas Tech, -3, and the over 133 in that contest. Next game, it is going to be Ole Miss taking on Kentucky. 2 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. Kentucky's -9.5, total 136 and a hook. We did see a 0.5 point fade of Kentucky at home. We also saw movement downward on the total. Wildcats open as the 10-point favorite down to -9.5. Total open 137.5 down to 136 and a hook. 61% are leaning Kentucky, 65% shaded toward the over. Right now, Ole Miss is plus 430 on the money line. Now, if you like the Rebels in this matchup here, they have won their last 3 straight games. They're also a perfect 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 straight. Ole Miss, they rank in the top 20 in the nation in defending the 3-ball. And, of course, that's not going to bode well for Kentucky because they're shooting just 30% from downtown on their home court. And when it comes to covering the spread at home, Kentucky's covered just 5 out of 14 home games this year. Now, total-wise, the Wildcats are 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Ole Miss, 60% to the over in their last 5. Kentucky should win this one outright, but I think Ole Miss should give them a battle and keep it close, at least keep it within double digits. I'm going to purchase the 0.5 point, buy it up, and lean Ole Miss plus 10 and the over 136.5 in that contest. Next game, Georgetown taking on Butler. 2:30 Eastern tip-off in that contest. Butler's -9, total 138.5. 0.5 point fade of Butler and moving upward on the total. The Bulldogs open 9.5, down to -9. Total open 137.5, up to 138 and a hook. 61% are leaning Georgetown, 54% on the under. And right now, the Hoyas of Georgetown, they are plus $4 on the money line. Now, we do have some guys banged up for Georgetown. Yurtseven and McClung, they are listed as questionable. Having said that, I'm going to cap this game as if they're going to end up playing because I know McClung, he's been questionable many times this year. So I'm going to put it to you this way. This is currently a lot of points for a Big East Conference game this time of year, that 9 number there. Butler certainly having their fair share of close games this year as well. I'm looking at a Georgetown team who's winners of 2 out of their last 3. They beat DePaul and St. John. And like I said, these conference games, these Big East Conference games, you know, when you play a team like DePaul or St. John, anybody can win regardless of record. Now, Georgetown, believe it or not, they rank in the top 45 in the country in scoring. They're also in the top 15 in offensive free throw percentage. Very good from the stripe. They're averaging 77 points per contest. Now, Butler on the other side, they're just 4-5 straight up in their last 9. They also, listen to this, they failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 9 games. They're also just 6-8 against the spread at home. They're averaging just 68 points per contest. Now, conversely, 4 out of Butler's last 5 did stay under the total. No surprise there. Meanwhile, Georgetown, 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Georgetown plus 9 and the under 138.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's college basketball action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend. Now before we dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we improved to 8-2 in our last 10 college basketball package picks last night. Nice winner in college basketball. We also improved to 8-4 in our last 12 crowd pleaser teaser picks on that site as well. We do daily premium selections on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you could subscribe to. We're also over 1,100 members on that site. Now here's the bad news. I started off the show with the good news. Here's the bad news. We had 4 premium plays yesterday. We had 4 premium plays yesterday. The college basketball tier cashed. The crowd pleaser teaser cashed. But we had 2 that did not cash. So guys, we went 2-2 yesterday. A 50% day. Basically, all we did was pay juice. Not what we're looking to do on that site. I'm very disappointed, very embarrassed that we went only 2-2. The daily best play and the extra daily pick weren't even competitive, and to go 2-2 is absolutely humiliating. And hopefully, you guys can forgive me for going 50%. It's not what we're looking to do. So hopefully, we can. I'm looking for a better day today. I think we'll improve. But that's the bad news. We went a pathetic 2-2 yesterday on that Patreon website. But anyway, guys, we do have some hot packages right now. Like I said, 8-2 in our last 10 college basketball package plays, 8-4 in our last 12 crowd pleaser teasers. Guys, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Notre Dame versus Duke. And that is going to be a 4 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that contest there at Cameron Indoor. Duke is minus 12.5 at home, total at 151. We saw a half a point move toward Duke and movement downward on the total. The Blue Devils open 12 up to minus 12.5, total open 151.5 down to 151 even. 63% are leaning toward the Blue Devils, 65% now leaning toward the over. And Notre Dame is plus 720 on the money line. Now, if you like the Fighting Irish on the road here, they are 4-1 straight up in their last 5. They're also 8-1 against the spread in their last 9. They're averaging 75 points per contest. They're also 6-3 against the spread away from home. Duke, on the other side, they failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 5. They also went just 30% against the spread in their last 10. And when it comes to shooting from the stripe, not very characteristic of your traditional Duke teams, but they are one of the worst teams in the country in shooting the free throw. They're shooting just 68% from the stripe on their home court, and they're just 6-7 against the spread at Cameron Indoor. Now, total-wise, Duke is 7-2 to the over in their last 9. They're also 9-4 to the over on their home court. Meanwhile, 6 out of the Fighting Irish's last 8 games got over the number as well. Duke should win this one outright, but I think Notre Dame should be able to keep this one close. Give me the Fighting Irish plus 13 after buying the hook, and the over 151 in that contest. Next game, LSU taking on Alabama, 4 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that contest. Bama's minus 2.5, total 167. 1 point move toward Alabama at home, movement downward on the total. Bama opened 1.5 up to minus 2.5. Total open 167 and a hook, down to 167 even. 65% are leaning LSU, 53% on the under. And right now, LSU is plus 130 on the money line. Guys, this should be a really, really fun game. Should in theory, see a whole lot of points in this one. Hell, you may even see an overtime or two. Expect a lot of points in this one. At least I am. LSU guys, 8-2 straight up in their last 10. They rank at the top 15 in the country in scoring on average per game, top 25 in offensive rebounding. They're shooting 48% from the field this year. They also rank at the top 5 in road scoring as well. Now, Alabama, they lost 4 out of their last 5 themselves. They also went just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6. Alabama's giving up 79 points per contest on average. So LSU, you never know, man. They could potentially score 100. Now, total-wise, Bama 5-1 to the over in their last 6. LSU 7-2 to the over in their last 9. I like the road dog in this one. Give me the Tigers of LSU +3 and the over 167 in that game. Next matchup, Big Ten. I'm talking about Illinois versus Rutgers, 4:30 Eastern tip-off in New Jersey. Of course, if you're a New Jersey bettor, you will not be able to play this game. I'm sure I'll hear about it here on YouTube. I'm sure I'll hear about it on Patreon. Yes, I realize you cannot find this game on the board. Okay. Rutgers, -4, total 129. We saw a half a point fade of Rutgers and movement downward on the total. Scarlet Knights open 4.5, down to -4. Total open 130, down to 129. 56% are leaning Rutgers. 85% are now on the over. Right now, the Fighting Illini are plus $1.70 on the money line. Now, if you like Illinois on the road here, just keep in mind they lost their last 3 straight games. And they're just 4-5 straight up away from home this year. They're averaging just 66 points per contest on the road. They're also shooting just 28% from downtown. Now, Rutgers on the other side, they are unbeatable at home, guys. They are a perfect 16-0 straight up at home. 11-4 against the spread in their last 15 home games. Rutgers ranks in the top 25 in points allowed at home, top 30 in home defensive field goal percentage. Now, 4 out of Illinois' last 5 games did stay under the total. I think this is a prime recipe for an under here. I'm going to lean Rutgers -4 and the under 129 in that game. All right, I got 2 more games to go, and for some reason, they are not on the screen in the back. Xfinity, what are we doing? I mean, we have West Virginia Baylor and Louisville Clemson, and you don't put it on the board? Like, are you even televising them? I don't know. Inexcusable. Got to do a better job. But anyway, let's take a look at West Virginia versus Baylor, 4 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. Baylor's -5.5, total at 130. Half a point fade of Baylor and movement upward on the total. The Bears open as the 6-point favorite down to 5.5. Total open 129.5 up to 130. 64% are leaning Baylor, 54% on the under. West Virginia's +210 on the money line. Now, if you like the Mountaineers on the road here, just keep in mind, out of their 8 games as the official road team, they've been victorious in just 3 of them. So 3-5 straight up on the road. Just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games at any location. They're averaging just 66 points per contest on the road. They're also shooting just 38% from the field when traveling as well. Now, Baylor on the other side, number 1 team in the country, 22-1 overall for the year, 70% against the spread in their last 10. Perfect 11-0 straight up on their home court. They rank in the top 15 in points allowed at home. They're giving up just 57 points per contest in the friendly confines. Now, no real surprise here. Baylor's 60% to the under in their last 10, 7-4 to the under at home. Meanwhile, West Virginia 4-0 to the under in their last 4 themselves, 8-3 to the under away from home as well. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me Baylor -5.5 and the under 130 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for part 1. I will be rolling out a part 2 with some of the later games. But anyway, last game here for part 1. It is going to be Louisville at Clemson, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Louisville's -5 on the road, total 131.5. We saw a half a point fade of the Cardinals and movement downward on the total. Louisville open 5.5 down to -5. Total open 132 down to 131 and a hook. 69% are leaning Cardinals. 61% now shaded toward the over. And the Tigers of Clemson are plus $1.85 at home. Now, Clemson has dropped 3 out of their last 4 games. They've also gone just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. They're averaging 66 points per contest, very low there. And they're also covering just 50% of their games on their home court. Now, Louisville on the other side, winners of 9 out of their last 10. They rank in the top 10 in the country in shooting the 3-ball. They're also, they're shooting 39.1% from beyond the arc, and they rank in the top 15 in defensive field goal percentage. Louisville 6-3 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lean Louisville -5 in the over 131.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went a dismal 2-2 yesterday in our 4 premium picks. Terrible. Shout out to Jamar Reyes, Soul DFS, Carlos Flores. Shout out to Mystic Kenny, New York, Dorian Owens, Ethan Duncan, Ruben Villasenor, Anthony James, Mike Lighty Jr., Ulysses Hayes, Switch Ski. Shout out to Dominique Hughes, who hit the link. Thank him later. My man Dominique Hughes, who actually asked me yesterday, were you listening to YMW Melly in the background? Well, yes, I was. I love Melly, and I'm a big fan of DaBaby. I mean, that's my go-to, DaBaby. The Kirk album, fire. And, of course, behind me we have the very lovely, very beautiful Doja Cat, who just is fantastic. So anyway, Dom Hughes, great to see you, my friend. Shout out to Worthy OM311, Marquise Miner, Karen Zaransky, Kenneth DeLue, too, who I coined the name yesterday, KD2, I think. Kenneth DeLue, too. Shout out to Pittsburgh Gentleman PA, SOP LFD Striker, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Andrew Reyes. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.